All right, good afternoon. It is 4:20 on July 20. I think I should look at the date before I start talking. Let's see, July 27th. I'm here at the garage, obviously, and I am going to finish up putting up the strengthener piece, which is this guy right here. At the end of the last video, this was set in place, but essentially it kind of snakes in here in between the lower part of the wing there, and also behind that little piece. So I'll get that guy welded in. I had to, you got to kind of cut away over here to be able to reach this, because this is a mounting part for that, and the inside sill blocks access to that. So I cut the rest of that lower wing off, and you can see the hole that I put in there for the wire loom or the wiring harness to come through. I bought some aquarium tubing to try and make a circle around there. That was the slickest thing that I can think of, but it's not working out yet. So we'll see if I can either maybe just electrical tape around there might be good enough. I don't really expect that stuff to move too much, but I don't want to cut the wire while I'm feeding it through, and I couldn't figure out how to roll the edge. So, but anyway, so that's the plan, to get the strengthener in. And then I had also mentioned that the hinges on the door over here were loose. You can kind of see, I don't have real great lighting over here, you can see how bad that is. And this is the bottom hinge, and that guy doesn't, I can't feel, maybe very, very little bit of movement, but obviously not as much as that. So that's hopefully what's causing the big gap in the door, and I won't have to sweat out, you know, having to, I don't know, readjust the entire body. That'd be bad. But so it's 4:30. I've been dealing with some other stuff, so I'm not going to get a whole lot of time in tonight, it being Thursday night, so school night and all. But and then tomorrow. All right, it's now 6:38, just turned, and I have the center strengthener piece in. My welds are actually pretty good this time, and I didn't even have to grind all that much. And you can see, obviously, some of them, but there's a couple in here that are actually somewhat impressive. That one is not one of them. But if you look at it from the car side, you can see, find me, there we are. See, I got good penetration up the top there. I finished welding in this stuff back in here. There's some holes that there's one hole that I gotta put a brass fill on. Obviously didn't grind any of that, because that's not a concern for putting the outer sill in. I did put the door back up real quick, and the gap at the top there was just as bad as it was before. So back to being a little bit nervous about that. But now I'm going to essentially try to work on getting the outer sill fit along with the door going up, and we'll take a look and see how that works out. I expect to have to do quite a bit of modification, or not modification so much, but just kind of banging and fitting, especially around in this area here, where I had to weld that new piece in. It didn't seem to want to go in there very well. But that's about it for right now. I'll probably be here for another couple hours, so who knows, maybe the next update I'll actually have the outer sill tacked in, but I don't know. Thanks. All right, final update for the evening. It's 8 o'clock, and I kind of am to the point where if I start doing any more, I'm gonna just suck up all the time, and I do have to go to work tomorrow. So I started fitting the outer sill. I ended up having to cut off my beautiful half-quarter front baseball cap thing there to try to make that fit in. I don't think I accounted for that very well, so I'll have to come back to repair that. I got the Nor back on, obviously. 2 out of the 3 bolts per hinge are kind of on there, and you can see that gap there. That's obviously too far, and as it works down, it's a pretty small gap until you get all the way over here, and then it's not so bad right about there, and then as you move up, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I shrunk that up a little bit, so again, I'm hoping that's just a door adjustment. I hope. I think it is. Like I said, everything measures out, so I'll play with the hinges and everything and see if I can get that in a little better. But I'm not really that happy with the way that the sill's fitting up. I got that seem about the same distance as what I'm used to, but you can kind of see here, especially if I turn the camera around, you can see how much the sill is kind of gapped there, and it really is sprung pretty good for it to fit on there. So I'm hoping that this is just a matter of, you know, you got to fight it. It still needs to come back by the looks of this gap. What I need to do probably is throw the passenger side door on and kind of take a look at that. But it's you know, it is what it is right now. So I think what I need to do is get the door on and get the door fitted up in the back here, done properly and fit with good space, that the way that I think it needs to be. And then I'll throw the outer sill up and adjust the outer sill to make a good gap everywhere else. I gotta have some reference, and that's the only thing that I can think of to give me a proper reference. And I'm just not in the mood right now to fight with trying to get this door fit. So there you go. I guess another thing I could do is drag the bonnet over here and see how the bonnet fits on the door. Maybe that'll give me some reference, but I don't really have any way to prop that thing up. So that'll be definitely a last resort. I still have some flex in the door. Not anywhere near as much, but I think it's minimal enough flex. I did swap out the hinge. I think it's minimal enough flex that I should be okay. So I'll loosen up all the bolts on the door, both on the door side and on the body side, and just totally start over again. I've never adjusted doors, so I'm sure it'll be fun. But otherwise, tomorrow I'm working on the house like I had mentioned, and then Saturday I'll get over here at some point and get back at it. Good night.